Well, I'm going to try this again. I don't know if any of that went. I hope it did. I need to check. Well, I can't. I don't know. None of this has done any good. I'm old, and I don't know. I'm in such bad health, and it seems so ludicrous what they're doing. But I'm going to go on with the Frida Barton. When I got there, I rented the apartment and paid the first month's rent and the security deposit. Oh, and her name's Frida Barton. She's kin to the state trooper. She took me there. I didn't know about the state trooper at the time. She took me there, and I went in, and the minute that I get back from the grocery store, and I paid the rent, she noticed it. She says, well, you don't have any air conditioning that's gone off. It was on when I was there paying the rent, and she was talking to him. And so this happens everywhere I go. The air conditioning's messed up, and then the fumes start. And at Affordable, I had room. They would come in and clean it once a week. And when I asked them not to, because they were deliberately soaking my bedding and everything, I'd be so sick. Well, they wouldn't have that. They would come in anyway. So you get the gist of it. Now, this is what I have been forced into. I've tried to leave, and I can't. I'm run back here to Roanoke. So here is what happened the last few years. When I did get some money, income, I was a law enforcement person, Terry Sawyer, I'll go ahead and say it, and company took me to Edinburgh Village Retirement. Um, that's HUD, low income. And they got me in right away. A couple of days later, I'm in. And then the chemicals start. It's hard to believe. Well, I don't know why it is. It's because it's here in America and they've gotten away with it. They're above the law. By the way, that's what the state trooper, his wife, said to me, that the Americans are above the law. So they don't have to worry about being prosecuted or anything on this. So I went to Edinburgh, and I managed to hang in there for 6 months being soaked in chemicals, and I had to leave. So Richfield was the next one in '08, a HUD. Really a nice place out there, but it wasn't nice for me with what they did to me. So I stayed 3 months there. I had to leave. I was so sick and everything. Now then, the next one was Joseph's Way, that's owned by a black minister out of Washington, North Carolina. He owns a bunch of them, and they're HUD, and that's federally funded by the government, okay? So now then, let me go back to what they've done. At every place they soaked me. And till I've lived in holy hell. I really have. There's no other word for it, and nobody will touch it. Legal aid, one attorney took it, Bostwick, and then he claimed that he lost contact with me, which was a lie. I'd call and try to talk to him, and I'd get his voicemail, and then I called back not too long ago, and the office told me he was gone, that they had no record of it. It just said he had lost contact with me. Well, that's a crock if you knew all that's going on. But now that I've actually have a place to go, I have actually gone back to Edinburgh, Richfield, and Joseph's Way in Bedford. I left for the same reason. I stayed there 7 months and really was sick. Really, I had to leave. So when I moved back to Roanoke, which is only about 40 miles, and he had a new place. He's got a bunch of these himself. And this one is Melinda's Melody, and it's owned by Moore, like Joseph's Dream is owned by Moore. Christiansburg is next to Tech, where the shootings and all that took place. And the woman's name there is Shauna, she's manager, Shauna Scott. Now then, I thought, I didn't do anything wrong here. They soaked me. They should be arrested. I had to leave, and of course, I had to break a lease. They gave me part of my deposit back in at Joseph's Way and at Richfield and Edinburgh. They gave me a partial, which I'm leaving because they're assaulting me with chemicals. Well, the thing is, at Melinda's Melody, and this is related to Joseph's Way, where I stayed 7 months, she tells I have to do a background check suddenly. Now then, at all these places, when Terry, who's with law enforcement, took me, I mean, he doesn't, I don't know what the deal is. He goes to them before I'm there. So I don't know what he tells them. But he is with law enforcement. I've seen him at the federal building, and I've also seen his IDs. So what they're telling before I go, I don't know, but the deal's made to soak me with chemicals, and that's the God's truth. So I got in right away, to Edinburgh in a couple of days, Richfield, I think it's a couple of months. And then at Joseph's Way, I got right in. Immediately I could have gone in. And each one of them has done just what I said, soaked me in chemicals, my lungs, kidneys, everything. Now then suddenly, these same places, when I go back to them, which is horrible, to have to go back and beg for a place to live when they have soaked you in chemicals, and ask, hoping that they won't do it again. Now, this time, they've asked for criminal background checks. Where I'd gotten in, couldn't get me in fast enough. Now then, they're doing criminal background checks. And everywhere I'd lived and worked. And by the way, this is HUD, for HUD here. This is supposed to be under the rules that only if you are a felon or you've been evicted and left owing them money, which I have not. I have left, paid it before time or on time. So that's what I've had to do, the criminal background check. Now, suddenly with Richfield, I just got this back. And I did go back and because I needed a place, and I asked, I don't see the other sheet here. I don't know where it's at. It's another sheet to that. Don't see it. Oh, heck. Oh, it's on the back. Okay. This is Richfield, and one more time prior to that, I called Richfield, and the same woman, this woman, Allison, is still there. Let me remind you, all these people have their jobs, and that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of their kids having been the law getting them with drugs or whatever, and deals are made, and their jobs are kept intact as long as they go along with law enforcement on what's done to me. So the first time I called this woman back at Richfield and asked to come back to where I'd had to leave, she sent me an Equifax. Well, she didn't send it. She told me my credit was no good. So I asked for the report. Well, she sent me Equifax, and I contacted them. They told me they didn't even know who I was. It was out of Atlanta. So now then, I just got this back. And suddenly they've done a background check where before I got in it was a couple of months at Richfield. Now then, here they say they don't mention Equifax. They don't have that marked. They have that there's previous abandonment of property and leaving the unit in need of cleaning. Partial security deposit was held to help rectify the unnecessary expenses. Now they're passing the buck from Renee Williams, and this Allison is the one that was manager there before. And this is Tina Nolan. I mean, you would think I'm the worst criminal going. And I want to get back, you don't see any of this about the chemicals being soaked and law enforcement going in there and ahead of me if I'm able to get a place and soaking me. But here's the deal on this. This is an excuse they use this time. When I went there,